What's up, guys? It's Mr. JamVad back for your second day in a row of daily upload. It just feels like longer than the day because it's technically be longer than the day because I uploaded the first one, I think, like 5 a.m. Eastern, and this one's going to be up in the afternoon. So, yeah, that's why it feels like that, but I can't be uploading videos at 5 in the morning. So, hopefully you understand. Why is it? I literally looked at this team to go like, okay, let me make sure it's not too wacky, and it was too wacky. Taunt, Earth Power. Why does it have Stealth Rock twice? Let's throw Toxic on this bad boy. Get Rock's Jump. No. What was the other move for this? People running Dragon Tail still. Sure. Let's do that. But so I took this team from Joy's Wall. It was scrolled through. I wanted something a bit more cool. If you guys have cool teams, definitely throw it down. It's got my guy. I think Sir Wings is a member of my Discord. A very, very important member. So this should be interesting. Yeah, but yeah, we're just getting back into the swing of things. As I mentioned, I had a very busy day yesterday, and so thankfully I uploaded that in the morning. It was actually recorded the day before. But how are you beautiful people doing? Let me see what I got. I got Woodhammer, Grassy Glide, Superpower. I want Knock. Don't want Superpower. Don't need it, to be fair. What do I know? I haven't played the metagame in forever. Really don't know what to expect. Beware is trash. Just wall by Zapdos, Dragonite, any flying type, to be honest. With the set that I have. What's my Torn? Torn Loki is a problem in and of itself. Cause my Heatran set. Ooh, this Spadef. Trans a bitch to kill and switch into form. Trans just annihilates him. You're gonna see why. No, it's defensive, but you'll see why. Rillaboom. Right move clicked is a beast. Garchomp. So this is gonna be a very defensive game. Not many of my offensive threats are issues, barring Gardevoir. And I don't want to trick his Heatran specs. Actually, I kind of do. Kind of do want to trick his Heatran specs. So what we're gonna do, phase 1 is going to be, because he actually led well. He led well. So this Torn is a bitch for him. And I don't want to risk getting static. He's Hurricaning for sure. Not that matters. Let me think. Garchomp. It's just the static that I'm concerned about. This is too important to get static. But I mean, this matchup's going to happen one way or the other. I'm thinking about it or Shifu later on. It's nice to have this. Garchomp. Garchomp's going to be my primary Heatran switch. Yeah, we're just going to knock off here. Even if he goes through that attack, he actually specs. I know he's in a Hurricane there. So he's actually specs, which is good information. So should Hurricane again? It's a risk, right? That's like the risk with it. I was gonna go Heatran there in hindsight. I didn't want him Volt switching. So him being spec Zapdos is actually really good for my well, I guess Rillaboom didn't give a fucking. It's really good for Torn. Roxy. So Toxic is free here. I actually did not even see that he had a Landorus Therion on his team. Like I literally, my brain blocked out the Landorus. I guess because it's such a common thing, and I'm figuring out this game as I go, as it's been so long since I've played. He definitely does not want this Garchomp just running around. The question is, what is the Landorus and what is the Heatran? So I'm actually gonna go back to my Tornadoes. As important as rocks may be, what I'm thinking is, let's say that it's a regular Landorus and it has Toxic, then Toxic Torn actually is better in this case. So heavy duty boots. Okay, this has leftovers. Okay, but that was a dirty play. So now 100% Hurricanes, which positions Heatran for success. My Heatran's a problem. So pivot back to Chomp, obviously, and now he rocks. He probably will Hurricane for some damage. Yeah, but it's just too risky a play. He forfeited. I mean, Hurricane is gonna miss. That's just what Hurricane does. But I didn't make any risks. I didn't take any risks. He hit the Hurricane on Torn. He hit it on Heatran too. He just missed it versus the Garchomp, which it matters, right? It matters. It wasn't because my biggest concern was that Dragonite, but a lot of them have seen run Ice Punch and Earthquake, and if that was the set, my Beware actually 1v1s it. If it's Dual Wing Beat and Earthquake, then my Garchomp Toxics, which could explain why he wanted it gone so badly. To be fair, even Dual Wing Beat might lose to Beware because of its ability and bulk up. So I didn't have a as sound of a game plan in this one, and I can tell based on the fact I just didn't know what to expect. Don't know what modern Dragonites are doing. I just assumed specs. I assume Vanded or Shifu. So it's gonna take a little sec to catch up back with the metagame trends. And because I didn't have a lot of time, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't really play much yesterday or at all. I don't think. Maybe in the morning. I don't remember if I played. But it's kind of fun as well to go through this and experience this in real time with you guys, though. So can't say I regret it too much. But yeah, just stating that. Now in this case, Rillaboom can chew my opponent up if it weren't for that Corviknight. And the only way he can deal with my Corviknight, the only way he can deal with my Gardevoir is with the Corviknight. And so I have one or two ways I can go about that. I can choose to trick it, or I can choose to Mystical Fire it. If it's max defense, then Mystical Firing it on a Rock Switch might be better. But he does have Victini as well, which could be a bitch. So Rocks is going to be prioritized in this game because I want more data on what his Victini is, because he has 3 potential boosters. Let me see, Earthquake, Beware shuts down Weavile. Yeah, Rocks are just gonna be phenomenal. Torn is almost impossible for him to kill. I am wary of that Vile Weave. The Lele is hard to guard against. So Weavile is the only lead that could. I actually don't know the roll on this if EV creates here. Either way, Chomp is the best bet. Hippowdon pivots. So I need to formulate game plans because now I have no proper assessment of what's important in relation to what. So let's take a look at this. I said I wanted Rocks. His Hazard Controller is his Corviknight. So this exchange would be Rocks as he Toxics or switches or swaps Rocks with me. My Garchomp being Toxic then would mean that, I mean, the Corviknight was always staying in. No, it couldn't, because it just switched back to it and defog repeatedly. And that's the worst thing in the world, because it positions me excellently for... He's not Scarfic, or at least he switched, so, and I switched first, right? Yeah, so he's not Scarf. Just thinking whether or not it's worth Toxicking this or Stealth Rocking this. Toxicking it is actually more important. Come on, man. That is a huge miss. Like a game-defining miss. Like I might have just... No, I was going to say I might have just lost. No, I haven't. I'm going to Toxic again. He should go to Corviknight, but I figured he'd just stay in Rocks. He doesn't realize how big of a miss that was, so I figured he'd just leave it in because I know he didn't assess his Hippowdon's value properly. And I mean that in the nicest way that can be meant. He's just Toxicking again, but I'm surprised he EQ'd. This gives me a lot of leverage. I'm very surprised he EQ'd there. It does mean I have to go back to Chomp. But now, because he's Toxic, he's going to have to slack off here, which gives me a lot of control. Now I can... Now I decide what you go to, because you're Toxic. I know you can't stay in, so you have to go to either Victini or the Corviknight. And so it's a question of whether or not I want to take the Corviknight's Um, like him going to Victini and me mystical firing, I get almost no value out of that. And this is this in Corviknighter's only Rillaboom checks. So I'm gonna actually trick here. Oh wow, he stayed in. That was insanely dumb. That was insanely dumb. No, it wasn't. I guess he didn't need dip out on, truth be told. He is really weak to Heatran. He is really, really weak to Heatran. But as I mentioned, beware. Triple X missed. Like, it literally missed. And he's just going to go to Corviknight because I'm pretty sure he's not sure what to do versus this. Oh, Volcanion. So it's boosts Volcanion, which I figured as much. Now, this does mean that Gardevoir is a lot less lethal than it was, but it does mean that my Heatran is a lot more lethal because he went directly Volcanion on me. So obviously I have Trace. I do think he's just going to Steam Eruption. I don't think he's thinking about the fact that my Gardevoir can Trace. Like, it would be super, super lit to go Gardevoir and get this. So again, I'm expecting the Flamethrower. He's Steam Eruption, so I figured. Yeah, he's just not. Knockoff would be clean here. If he leaves it, then so be it. I'd be open to trading Torn for this thing's item. Is it time though? Because that would mean that you'd be taking. But it's just, how do I get rid of the Corviknight? Yeah, actually gonna take this thing's item because he's not thinking long term enough about how brutal my Heatran is gonna be. And as I said, I knew he'd Steam Eruption repeatedly, which could have gotten my Gardevoir in, but after that he's just gonna knock me out with Sludge Bomb. So it's not that essential. So what we're gonna do here is, I'm actually faster, but he should go Corviknight. Even if he doesn't go Corviknight, I have a backup plan, which is the pivot to the Tran, and then go to Gardevoir. I'm very surprised at how he's doing this. Okay, Earth Power. I forgot about Earth Power as an option. So he was just gonna give me the Volcanion, which is very interesting. He should go Corviknight now. Nope. So Weavile goes Weavile while I have the I don't get this. So he actually could lose here. Corviknight, let me see. Actually could get swept here. Run, turn, or grassy terrain. I'll substitute here. Defogs, I figured. Not bulk up because of Beware's ability. It's insane. I don't think. Well, if Body Press is his only move, then. Because if the Corviknight gets destroyed, then my Rillaboom, well, actually, it doesn't destroy him anymore because the Victini still have full. Okay, I actually broke the sub. Because I debated subbing again there. I was like, which would be more valuable? Subbing again when because he's gonna have to hard switch to something. It's gonna be Vic. I might not one shot. Well, with the V crit damage I do. Now he forced to Lele. I'll give up Garchomp here. The reason I'm giving up Garchomp versus going hard Heatran would keep me in mind. But if he Focus Blasts, right, and I go hard Heatran, I'm in trouble. He's leaving this Lele in here. He's showing Body Press, Defog, Roost. It's just a question if U-turn his other move. If he risks the Focus Blast here and hits, I'm in trouble. I don't want him having if he has U-turn, I'm in a really bad spot. If he Focus Blasts and hits it, he wins. If he goes Corviknight and I U-turn, and I Grassy Glide, and he has U-turn. Yeah, if he had U-turn, he would have just used it last turn, right? I wonder what his other move is. Body Pro, what are they using? I know Roost has to be on the set. It could be Iron. It couldn't be Iron Defense. He would have just Iron Defense. Well, not necessarily. And he knows if he loses this, he loses to But based on how he's played so far, I'm actually gonna U-turn. He does focus blast. But now he's within range of Magma Storm. So as long as this Magma Storm hits, we're Gucci. Please fucking hit Heatran. Fuck me, bro. Please. How you gonna miss? How you gonna hit all the fucking Magma Storms and I miss Lisa? That's crazy. But yeah, Beware now just dominates. But I could tell just lower ladder, so you know what are you gonna expect, right? It is helmet, which is what I figured. So we can just bulk up here, body press, yeah. And there's nothing you can. But that's what I'm saying. Like you can never. It seems to have been maybe Scarf. Just bulk up again. Drain Punch should give me more than I'm losing at 44. Yeah. Whoa, that's damage. Okay. Let me just bulk up again here. Why not? And obviously Weavile is never touching a fluffy. +3 bulked up. Yeah, triple axle ain't even breaking this. Well, I guess because of that last. But what I was thinking there was like because he lost the Lele, he had 0% chance of winning. Like his chances of winning went to 0 because he can never beat the Beware. So that's why it's like it's really no chance to. But I thought he was spexed and seemed to have been scarfed. And so because he was scarfed, which I don't think he usually runs focus. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what scarf runs. But because the focus blast is so weak, he ended up not even doing half to my E-Tran. But I didn't play that super smoothly, to be fair. There were so many times I could have gotten free kills. I don't regret the decisions because I'm covering my bases. So there's a new concept that I'm going to be introducing to you all. It's in poker, but man, so much I'm going to share with y'all soon that I've dug into. But it's something called resulting, and it's essentially when the result of a decision isn't quote unquote good, people assume that the decision wasn't a good decision. Whereas when, like I say, if I choose to hydro pump and I miss the hydro pump, well, because I missed and that miss cost me the game, people will then use hindsight by saying, oh, well, that wasn't a good play. But you have to really assess, which typically you're not going to be able to do because you don't know the opponent's sets and their spreads and what they don't know about the opponent's team. And, in this heat of the battle, okay, was hydro pump superior to da-da-da-da? And so most people, one, just cannot calculate all that because they're just not good enough of players, right? And we'll fix that. And so they'll just look at it. It's sort of like a person on the sidelines of a basketball game who's never played and they're talking shit about what. I'm like, dude, right? But, human nature. But my point with that is that resulting, not because the decision or the outcome wasn't favorable means that the decision was poor. It can be a really good decision to hydro pump, but hydro pump is guaranteed to miss 20% of the time. You never know when that 20% will occur. So technically it can miss it. You have to always factor in the fact that it's going to miss with every time you use it. So it's technically not hacks, right? It has to miss. If you always hit hydro pump, that's hacks. Right, but because we never pay attention to the times we hit, we only notice the times we missed when it mattered. Then, obviously, your human bias goes, "Oh, I'm hacked, I'm hacked," which I've done so many times in the past, in my younger days. Man, Torn eats in my life, and Psyshock. Still know what this shit does. So let's play this. I still did not do the fucking shit that I'm supposed to do. The shit I'm supposed to do. I was gonna lead Heatran, but I was like, this guy, there's no way he just not lead landers. Even though it doesn't matter. Again, Torn versus everything is a phenomenal matchup, but I don't want this to randomly have Stun Spore. That would really, really, really grind my gears. And so as far as things to be stun spored, I'd much rather it be Heatran. That does mean that landing a Magma Storm is near impossible. But what I'm looking at for the end game here is I don't have a sweeper per se. Rillaboom's decent. I mean, actually, everything resists grass except Landorus. But the Grassy Glide is so powerful that it could muscle through Latios, the dragons, the fairy. We'll see about that. And obviously Landorus at a certain point. He doesn't guard well against Psyshock. Psyshock switch-ins are things that don't like switching in on Moonblast, so he's going to likely try to go to Slowking first, which will give me a free trick. A trick that the choice specs is essentially neutered, which means one, it just can't deal with the Gardevoir. We can't switch in comfortably on the Gardevoir anymore. Not that that matters too much, because that's not going to be that powerful. And Psyshock was always hitting outside of the Assault Vest anyway, so because that's the only mood I had to hit. I would have to hit it with. But at the very least, it forces in the Slowking whenever my Gardevoir comes in, and then it's locked into a move. And so that gives me a lot more leverage, because he has to decide what move he wants to lock himself into. And even I can get even more crafty and Mystical Fire, right? Because think about it. What can switch into a Gardevoir on his team? Moonblast. Only Slowking and maybe a Spadef Landers. Yeah. So, yeah, I think my man's finna time out. And I've been recording for almost 20 minutes already. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And this isn't the account that we'll likely play on, but this is the one I have right now. So that's what we're working with. But yeah, we're gonna find another one, and this will likely be our last. Thanks for joining me on the Showdown show, Mr. Jamvat's Showdown show. Actually, that should be a thing. The Showdown show. Welcome to the Showdown show. Is this Trick Room? No. It's like half Trick Room. Because I stopped working on the Marowak. Right. Half Trick Room. Rocks plus Moonblast is lethal. Except versus Porygon. I might be able to tank two a little comfortably. I really miss Megas. I miss Hyper Voice. Checking out Joey's Mega to the Top series. Well, when I was looking through it while I was talking about Mega Pidgeot, Mega Metagross, I was like, where the fuck are the Megas at, bro? Like, those are some good times. Mega Mawile, yo, bring Megas back, man. What the fuck? You can't just take shit out, as they did so for an entire generation. But Toxic is lethal. I got 2 Toxicers. Because Garchomp is it's impossible to deal with for him. Torn as well. Torn is gonna be my go-to. Zeraora is the only one who can deal with it. So we're gonna just play this one pretty simply. I would Chomp Lead. It's just that the Chomp Lead versus a Lele lead that I have no data on is more dangerous than a Torn lead versus a Zeraora. Like Zeraora can never muscle past Chomp or Rillaboom, whereas Gardevoir, as you can see, he's really weak to Tran. So, Rocks plus Tran. Tran can one can't speak. So we U-turn here. It's relevant what he does. Stays in, switches out. I have all the leverage, all of it. And so oh man, I have so much I want to teach you guys. Protects, that's interesting. Hurricane here, he's staying in. I mean, I don't know why, but I knew he was staying in. When you have Protect, you stay in the next turn. That's just the kind of player you are. Protect on a Buzzwole, you don't switch. You don't switch. You don't. You just don't. So I actually want my item gone. Who bulks up there? You're crazy. You're a crazy guy. I'm gonna wood hammer you because you're a crazy guy. You're a crazy guy, bro. Look at that. Who's gonna do CC? You're a crazy guy, bro. I'm actually gonna go hard Chomp. I don't need to. Let's just wrap this up a bit quicker. Well, actually, no. Because I'm thinking is if he does CC, I shouldn't get too killed with Ruskin and Grassdorn. But it's just a waste of I don't think CC would kill Myrilla either. You know, Beware actually 6-0s this guy. Yeah, I didn't think it would. No, they don't need Rillaboom anymore. So many ways to go about this. So many ways. So many ways. So many ways. But as I mentioned, just like the lead situation, Torn is just devastating. And you do, let's say I went Chomp there, which would devastate everything else. Well, I guess Ice Beam on the. So he's probably scarfed, right? And so it's probably modest scarf based on that damage. Did 66.6%. So we Tran first. He actually Focus Blast. I did not expect him to Focus Blast there. It's not that, it doesn't matter. I was gonna go hard guard, because guard would guard against Moon Blast and Focus Blast. But I was like, he should never Focus Blast that turn anyway. So he does, and it's fine by me. You have a dead Lele, whatever. He's probably modest, but he still outspeeds me. Let's see how much Porygon takes. Yeah, so with Rocks, it still would have missed. So now we get Rocks up and wrap this up with Chomp, because so it was Trick Room, which I figured as much. Doesn't matter. Oh, I don't have Rocks on this. Thinking whether it's better to taunt, or I know these things like to teleport. Let me think, from a value standpoint, if I taunt and he goes hard Marowak, I get almost no value. I get no value out of the turn. If I taunt and he tries to teleport, he's screwed. If I Earth Power and so I'm just gonna Toxic. It covers all my bases, and then I just go hard Beware, and that's game. You know, honestly, I could have just Beware sweeps, because he could Blitz here. Yeah, Beware sweeps. So, yeah, I mean, Trans devastating. Gardevoir. Probably ground move. Because Chomp would die to Pulti. But I guess I'll just sweep him with Beware. I mean, I guess it's not that deep. I'm just thinking who I want to sack. Because I'm pausing, pretty sure he's just going to Poltergeist or ground move. So watch this, watch this. Watch this right here. He actually blitzed. Never mind. Oh no. Oh no. But you know, we just give up the Gardevoir. And that's all she wrote. There we go, Beware. So because he's poisoned, and my Beware has Earthquake, I figured it was just some random, not random, but you know, I figured it was Beware's Earthquake can kill the Lele now that it's at half. And obviously Amanda Buzz is never beating a Beware nor is a Porygon. So because I have sub, I can actually mitigate the Trick Room. There's so many ways to win this game. So many ways. So many ways. Actually, Trick's the best player. He goes back to the Porygon, which would be a good play here, because your Marowak is your only way you can win this game. So, though you have no Healing Wish or anything like that. So your Earthquakes, which I figured he'd do last time. So if I go Chomp, and he goes Porygon, sure it's Modest Lele, which should mean he's slower than my Chomp. I guess if he's not Modest Lele, that was a dangerous decision I just made. Because his Lele is doing just a lot. Well, Lele can't one-shot Chomp, I don't think. Yeah, I may have just threw. There are a couple ways to go about this. I could go Heatran first. Earth Power or Focus Blast did 61%. Okay, so this is actually the best play, because he has to hit Focus Blast, and because he doesn't know I have Ton on the Tran. So Porygon is gonna get decimated, and if he lets my Tran get too much leftovers, then he has to get if he lets my Tran get, then even the Focus Blast hit won't do me in. Because I was based on the damage, like, because the last guy's Focus Blast did not even half. And this guy's did 60 something, so I was like, okay, he's modest. And how much he did to my torn with the side shock, I thought, whoa, it's modest scarf for sure. But if he's not, and I just don't know my calcs, then I put myself in an awkward spot. So now I'm at 64%. So even if he goes to the Lele, I suppose, obviously, obviously I can miss Magma Storm here. He's hitting all his Focus Blast. Certainly I can hit a Magma Storm, right? It's only fair. My nigga has not missed a fucking Focus Blast. Alright, that's technically hacks. That's hacks. But, yeah, so my boy is foul playing. So all I need is, it doesn't really matter what I do. What is he gonna do? But I prefer to keep the trend over just sacking it. There's really literally no reason to. And on the off chance there's some factor that I'm not factoring. So it rocks, because why the fuck not, right? Beware wins. Once I got that young Toxic on him. But the ideal situation would have had to be Beware versus Porygon. And on the odd chance the Porygon only has Ice Beam, my Heatran actually could get more health with leftovers back than he's doing, which is likely why he went to, why would you go Porygon versus Heatran? But yeah, that's where we're gonna end the live today. Lot to learn. Gardevoir pulled through, didn't do shit as usual. I think I tried to use this once and didn't do shit, and then this again didn't do shit. So one day we'll do shit. Shout outs to Mega Gardevoirs coming back soon to a town near you. And hit the like button down below, guys. I really did miss y'all, man. Like, you have no idea. Like, and I truly mean these things, which you guys would know from watching me for years. But I wouldn't say things that I don't mean. I'm not that kind of guy. So, yeah, it's good to be back. I appreciated all the comments that you guys gave. And I'm excited for the new generation. So, see you tomorrow.